Okay, we're sitting here with Miss Melissa Saye with the Northeast Louisiana Children's Museum. So
Good morning.
I just want to thank you for coming and giving us the opportunity to be able to chat about the Children's Museum and the impact it's had on our family. So I ran across an article the other day from Bayou Life magazine. I don't know how old that article is, but I learned a lot of stuff. So some things that I learned is that you started this with a really good friend back in the late 90s. Is that correct?
My bestest friend, yes, Martha Ryan.
Can you tell me? So I know that you were in education at the time. You were, I think, Grace Episcopal.
Yeah.
Is that where you met her at?
Yes. I was a teacher, and she called herself the cut and paste engineer. She was a teaching assistant for a different teacher. And we both had young children at the time. We both were transplants from other communities. Martha was from the Washington, D.C. area. And they sought out a small southern town to raise their family deliberately. We came up here with me crying in the backseat of my car from Baton Rouge, which is where all my family was, to be here for 1 year so my husband could clerk for district judge here. And here we are. We met at Grace and thought, wouldn't it be great to maybe have a children's museum here, because we'd both been to the one in New Orleans. And that's kind of where we started. It was 1995.
Okay, so it did really start out from you guys attending another children's museum.
Yes, it did. It absolutely
And you guys
did.
wanted to kind of do something like that here?
Well, it's such, obviously, as you know, a very family-oriented community. And so we put together a board immediately. We sent out these surveys, old school, like snail mail.
So tell me about the survey. So, so that's one of the things I read. You sent out surveys to the community and asked for kind of feedback.
Yeah.
So at that point, what kind of feedback were you looking, and how did you determine who to send these surveys to?
Well, we sent them to educators, obviously, to business professionals, community leaders. We kind of sent to a wide, diverse group in Ouachita Parish and outside of Ouachita Parish, because we wanted, of course, to look at it as a regional potential, which we are currently. It's amazing. And in it, we asked them, would they support it? How often would they visit? What exhibits would they like to see? And we had just an amazing response, even back in the day where you had to put a stamp on something and mail something.
Right.
Where, in fact, one of our very first board members is a local doctor, and he flipped his paper over and drew pictures on the back of exhibits that he had 5 kids would love to see.
Okay.
That, highlighted our region, and it was really super cool, and it inspired us to go ahead and get moving on it.
So in 1996, you correct me if I'm wrong these dates, in 96 is when you formed the nonprofit board.
Yes, correct.
Y'all opened in 98.
We did.
So we have a 2-year period of, I would have to assume, fundraising or getting community buy-in. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Right. Well, and it was, we looked at Forsythe Park, as well as some other locations potentially for where we could be. We wanted to be centrally located for the community, but we wanted to be open quick if we could.
Sure.
So some of the buildings we looked at required a lot of rehab or construction, and then we found this great location downtown that was just a shell that we could just fill. It was an old warehouse. And so we went that avenue. So it was a really short time frame. I mean, it's really remarkable, and it's a compliment to this community that we got open so quickly within 2 years.
Now, how important was that board that you initially established in helping you get this off the ground?
Well, they were super important. They were doers. We needed people that were going to be out there sharing our same story, asking their friends and family to support it financially and through other avenues. And it was a great working board that is obviously key to make things move forward, as I feel now about my executive committee with our current move. I mean, they are out there helping me. It's amazing and wonderful.
So I think it'd be safe to say that although the two of y'all had this vision, it took a lot of people to make this vision become a reality.
It did, and it always does. I mean, it can't just be one person for especially a great idea. It's this project, that one when we started, and then now where we are, is something that everybody willingly and gladly supports, because it's our children, it's our future. And with your comment, we want them to want to stay here, come back here, raise their families here. I mean, I love this community. It was not one that I planned on staying in. And my husband and I raised our 4 kids and Martha's 2 here, and have absolutely loved what it's offered and how it's prepared them for their futures.
I can assume that a lot of people, when you guys started in the community, really didn't know or probably have never been to a children's museum. So as you're trying to articulate that out to the community, what do you think was the 1 or 2 things that really got the community involved to really get behind and support this project?
I think it probably was 2 things. One is the quality of life that it adds to a family experience, to have something that they can go to together, have fun together at, and enjoy time. The other aspect is the educational piece that we offer. It's not just and there's nothing wrong with the ball pit play places. They serve a purpose
Sure.
too. You get rid of a lot of energy and it's awesome. But the educational piece that we add, the little aha factors, that little sneak-ins of things that they learn in the process of playing. There's a lot of power in play, a lot, that we offer this in addition to the family fun, that I think drew people into the project at the very beginning.
So let's talk about the education aspect. So you coming as an educator into the process, and your partner was an educator as well, right? I know there's different types of learning styles and going through different, and I understand that play is a big part of that for kids learning. How did you guys attack the education aspect while incorporating the entertainment at the same time? Is there a certain style that you guys used, or how did y'all go about establishing that?
Well, where we found the most success is that when we, well, of course, we did our research with the Louisiana standards of education to see what parts of the curriculum that the teachers are teaching in the schools that we could supplement or enhance through a hands-on experience when they come to the Children's Museum. Even simple basic skills like your fine motor skills, communication skills, social skills, all major importance post-COVID. But math, science, even like we have 3 pulley seats, and they have 1 loop, 2 loops, 3 loops. So you have to try them all, and you learn a little bit about, what's an easier way to pull yourself up on a pulley. So that is something that they learn in school about simple machines, and then here we have an activity that goes along with it. So that was key in how we selected the exhibits originally, and really truly how we continue to, and going forward at the new place, what our plan is for that. It's really because my background is education. That's important for me is to see it as something that the teachers can say and the parents can say, look, we just went over the layers of the earth, and here we are making them out of Play-Doh at the Children's Museum,
Absolutely.
So it's really a great partnership that we have, even just, coincidentally, and when families come in and learn and teachers come in to play, with their kids.
With my girls, which they have frequented it
a
lot, I've learned that it does spark some questions when they get there. So when you guys put the little Oval Office in there, and we were able to have or talk to them. Well, you know what this is, and all that stuff. It did spark more conversation.
Wonderful.
Although our kids, probably don't fully understand what government and how it really works.
Yeah.
It's getting the conversation started so that we can have conversations as they grow, because what we talked about today may come up just out of the blue 2 years from now.
Exactly.
And that conversation started there at the Children's Museum.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
So, how do you guys have it organized with staff? Surely this has got to be a labor of love to be able to make this happen and put it together. So from staffing, is it something that you struggle with, or you find that people really want to come and work there?
Well, so we have we've had some great staff members that are college students from our local universities.
Right.
Surprisingly, they're not mostly education majors. They're mostly in nursing and pharmacy and other fields like that. And it gives them the flexibility, gives them some fun and experience. They remember coming as children to the Children's Museum, and now are in a different role as a staff person. So in that way, we feel fortunate. I have we just hired a development director to help with the relocation project.
Okay.
She's got a lot of experience in fundraising in the community. She also is an educator. She taught at elementary schools here in Monroe for a number of years, and she has happy tears every day, as much because she loves the job and loves the experience that she had. We have one little exhibit where you print out you can draw your face and print it out. And one day I found just the words "Yay Day" printed out on the sheet, and we have it in our office because
Wow.
that's how we feel every day. I have a museum educator that we've just trained, and she's just taken off and just does an amazing job. And so, as we grow, we of course. We'll need more people, but we feel like we're lucky in that aspect that we've been able to find some quality staff that have a commitment to this community and they want to be here. So that's been wonderful. Some days are super crazy,
Sure.
and we all have to quit what we're supposed to be doing and focus on the kids, and we love those days too.
And I'm sure during COVID, I bring it up from time to time because it has a major impact on a lot of our lives. I can remember the drive-throughs that we did during COVID.
Absolutely.
Which, I mean, for us being cooped up in the house was huge for us to be able to get out and our kids to feel like they're still involved in something they already know.
Right.
So what kind of impact did that have on you guys?
Well, I remember it was too quiet, of course. We love the noise. We just think it's all joyful. And when we went through COVID, we had to shift and pivot as everybody did. And we fortunately were able to keep our doors open. There are children's museums around the country that closed because of COVID, but we had community support, thank goodness. And we did, like one thing specifically was Easter Village. It was right before Easter happened. That's a big fundraiser for us, and so we just made it a drive-through. Easter Bunny went out on the front porch and waved at everybody.
Too.
We had 1,100
Wow.
people and about a handful of dogs in the cars come through. But we got the sweetest thank you note in particular from a family that was like, thank you for this moment of normalcy and during this crazy time. And then there'd be the child with their head through the sunroof yelling, I want a chocolate bunny.
Yeah.
My brother does too. I mean, it just
It's
was so
awesome.
heartwarming. I really sat at the window and just Happy Tears Day again, with that experience that we were lucky to have, that we all were, and it was a moment of, whew, okay, we can get through this,
So you touched on it a little before, but let's expand on it a little bit about you being a regional
Yes.
event. So when you guys set out from the very beginning, you had an opportunity to name this Monroe, Louisiana
Right,
Children's Museum,
right.
but you chose Northeast Louisiana. Tell me about kind of how that came to be and why that was important.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. Actually, that's we were very deliberate and very thoughtful in the process of naming the museum. We went through the cutesy names. Did we want to do that? Did we want to just do our town? And we really felt like it needed to encompass all of Northeast Louisiana. And that was really forward thinking. I mean, we thought we would be regional, but we see 17 different parishes every year.
Wow.
I mean, just in our museum where we are, I mean, imagine when we're in the park what we can do. I mean,
Sure.
we actually added the 18th because a school came over last week from Shreveport, all the way from Shreveport, from Caddo Parish, to come play at the museum. I got a lovely thank you note from the class about their experience. And so we do feel like this is the museum for Winsboro, for Bastrop, for Ruston, for, Caddo Parish if they want to come as far. And so that was why we chose the name. It deliberately was that because we are it. We are it, and we're glad to be it. So so the process took a little while, but we felt like it's a long name.
Sure.
But it's a good name.
But I think it was a very welcoming name so
Yeah,
that
thank
people
you.
didn't feel like that it's just a Monroe thing
Right,
or
sure.
Ouachita Parish
Right, sure,
thing.
sure.
We've heard families coming from, Arkansas and
Oh, yeah.
Texas
Oh,
that
yeah.
has come and visit. So how many people do you think you guys serve on an annual basis? I know the numbers probably fluctuated because,
Sure.
we've had those years.
Sure, yeah.
But how many families do you feel like you serve annually?
We see about 50,000 people a year.
Wow, 50,000.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
but again,
wonderful.
It's amazing. My husband, my biggest supporter, he has said for years, I don't think people realize what a great number of people you bring in. So I made him a hat. He's got a baseball hat with 50,000 visitors a year on it. So he
That's
can proudly
awesome.
wear it. And, we anticipate doubling that with the relocation because we'll be in a park. It'll just lend itself to just a day's worth of, experiences together as a family or field trips. Like we had a group that came in from Winfield 2 days ago.
Okay.
And it was about 120 people that came, and then they had to drive to Forsythe Park to have their picnic because they
Sure.
were making a day of it. This will be right there, all in the same spot.
So, nice segue into let's talk about the move.
Yes.
When do we anticipate that happening?
Well, so of course we are in the capital campaign currently. If things progress as they are, which is we've just had great success so far, we should be able to break ground in 2024.
Oh, fantastic.
I
You feel like
know. It gives me
construction be about a
chills.
year?
Yeah, about 12 to 18 months.
Okay.
Things are better now in the construction field
Sure.
with getting supplies and stuff. So we feel like hopefully it'll be at the shorter end. But it's coming. It's so exciting.
So talk to me about, so I know the location where it's going to be at.
Uh-huh.
Are y'all incorporating any of the old structure that's there?
Right.
Or are y'all tearing it down?
That
Talk
is
to us a little bit about that.
Okay, so that's a historic building in the front, that original pool house, and that belongs to the city. It'll remain in the city's care and control. And I just want to add that Mayor Ellis and the city have been extremely supportive in prepping that land and supporting our project, as is the region and Mayor Mitchell as well. It's wonderful to have the support of the cities here for the process. But they'll keep it. They'll do something proper with it. I don't know, community affairs offices or Parks and Rec or something. I'm not exactly sure what their plan is. They've got several things stirring around to come up with what's exactly right. And then they've cleared and emptied the pool. It's filled in with dirt. Actually, there's grass growing there now. And we will have a brand new 22,000 square foot building on the back end of that circle.
Okay, so the new entrance or the entrance will be on the back side of that. Okay.
It will. And of course, we're a part of a large master plan for that park that the city is doing with Carbo Landscape.
Yep.
Mayor Ellis is focusing on 3 major parks, Chenault, Forsythe, and Bernstein Park by the zoo.
Sure.
And so ours and our master plan will lay out the whole park and focus on certain things, one being the Children's Museum and some other physical activities. And then, the other parks will highlight other things. So it'll change the design of the park. For example, one thing that we feel like would be great, and it's included in the plans, and hopefully it'll continue, is that there won't be in the middle where the street is, just in the very center section, where in front of the building where the Children's Museum will be, that won't be a drivable section
Okay.
of Sycamore. So it won't be like a runway
Right.
down where all families and children will be. So
you'll
there's-
probably have 2 parking lots on either side
and
of it.
and the circle.
Okay.
That the circle will remain, so kids and families and buses can be dropped off at the front, which is in the back of that section.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
and then we'll be visible too. I mean, there's a lot of trees. There's a lot of trees that can be taken out that are not old historic oak trees. We're not going to do any of that, but there's some room to make some things happen that will be
So
visible.
that's going to really change the whole scape of Forsythe
It
Park.
will.
Then.
It will.
And you guys are going to be the center attraction for
I
the
know,
whole
we can't
entire.
wait.
That's awesome. Talk to me about some of the new designs you want to incorporate. The ones that you currently have in the museum have been great, but I know that you guys are trying to plan for something probably even bigger than what you have. So tell us a little bit about that.
We are. This is my favorite part to talk about too, because from the beginning of this process of relocating, it's been my focus and dream to have our exhibits and exhibit galleries focus on Northeast Louisiana and what we have to offer, all the wonderful things. We currently are in a museum, and we're not just moving that museum and putting everything in a bigger space. That's not how it's going to go. We are saving and bringing some key pieces over that we feel like we just can't. We have to take the White House, and we have to take the Big Mouth. I mean, I think people would not forgive me. And I love the White House, so it's included in the new design, but also as a focus on the river. Of course, we have this beautiful river right here. Agriculture in our community, healthcare we are a healthcare hub here in Northeast Louisiana.
Right.
The entrepreneurs and career options that we have here in manufacturing and in different industries. So that's where our focus is, all the way down to our babies. We're going to have currently have a little baby bayou that's a partnership with the Children's Coalition. We are going to expand it, make it. I think we're going to call it maybe the backyard bayou. Expand it in the new space, make it larger, but just get that. the learning cogs moving from babies on up. So our age range will expand more than we are able to offer here.
So talk to me about that age on the upper end of the age.
Yeah. So, right now it's good for the littles, as we call them. It's a lot of role play and hands-on fun. But as we expand to the new place, there'll be opportunities for STEM, like we'll have a STEM lab.
Okay, because I was going to ask about that. Are you going to try to incorporate any STEM into
absolutely. Well, really STEAM. We like to add the art because art is a big focus.
Sure.
And, of course, culture and art are big in this community as well. We feel we've got just a great arts community and cultural community here that we want to highlight. But it'll be more hands-on, more the opportunities for the older kids, 8 to 10 to 12, to come in and learn how a process happens, the scientific process. And then also maybe be explainers to younger kids, so their role can change and they can become part of our volunteer staff. And then through high school even, where we'll have potentials for them to develop some skills that they can be the teachers and the educators for their younger, classmates. It really, the opportunities are endless. They really, truly are. And that's just all within the walls. But outside we'll have a great educational setting on the outside, which we, of course, cannot have where we are located. It's too small.
I'll tell you a little something about me. And I was going to ask about the outside. My family's been going there for years, and I don't go quite as often as what my wife does with the kids, but I'm there fairly frequently. And I had no idea there was that maze on the side, until my girls would always run around the building like, "Where are you going?" And like, "We're going to be in the maze. We're going to be in the maze." So, are you going to have a few outside activities?
We are. We are going to have some educational settings, so it's almost like an outdoor classroom. We're going to incorporate a small amphitheater area so that we can do some performances out there or some teaching out there where, I love it's called elephant toothpaste. I don't know if you've ever seen that science experiment, but it's...
is that where it kind of just shoots? Yes.
We can't, it'd be better outside.
Yeah, it would, definitely.
When we shoot our rockets with the Alka-Seltzer, it'd be better outside. Yeah. So we can have that experience and families and classes can sit there. But then there'll also be some climbing and, physical activity that'll be out there as well. So it expands our 22,000 square feet building to, 40,000 square feet with that. Wow. So, and we've seen that because, of course, I drag my family to children's museums all around the country. Even my 18-year-old is our baby, and we brought him through Meridian one time. We had to stop at the Children's Museum. We all had fun.
Sure.
But their outdoor space is something remarkable for a small city like we are. They took advantage of that opportunity to expand outside, and we want to do that as well.
That's awesome.
It's great.
So, as we wrap up here, how can our community still support you guys? I know that you've got a building or construction drive that's happening to raise money for the building. And I believe that people can, no matter what your income level is, everybody can participate. Tell us how we can participate.
Okay, so I've got some great ideas. Well, Dawn Landry, the development director, has come with a litany of wonderful ideas too. So we'll have fundraisers in the community that we would love for people to participate in. We have one actually this Sunday called Juleps and Jockeys, and it's an adult stick horse race in our parking lot. It's just an adult party with mint juleps and some wonderful volunteers that are going to literally run around on a track on a stick horse.
That's
Sunday
amazing.
Afternoon. But we also have other things in the queue that'll be happening. One thing that we have in storage that we can't wait to bring out is we have some piggy banks.
Okay.
That we can give to families, and we're going to partner with local banks and for them to distribute them so that every family can put their pennies in. Kids can participate and bring that, and they can be a part of our future museum. There's a lot of nostalgia around the pool. We saved the tiles from the pool.
Awesome.
And so, we'll have a version of a brick purchase that will be with the pool tiles. That will be incorporated in the artistic design within the interior and exterior space of the new building. We've worked with a company out of Illinois, a national company called Lucy Creative, and they've completed 100% of our conceptual design already. It's an amazing vision book that will be putting out to the public on our social media pages very soon. We've put some little bits and pieces, but that's one way to get people to understand what we're thinking. We would love to welcome their exhibit ideas. Send us your pictures. Send us your experiences that you've been to. We also have started, and we'll be pushing this out shortly too, is we are looking for 100 founding families that will contribute an amount of $5,000 or higher, and they will have a specific and special location and wall at the new museum to acknowledge they're jumping in at the very beginning and being a part of it. We've already got several that have come and jumped in, and we appreciate that commitment to the community. But from pennies to the big bucks, we need all the help we can get, and we feel like, as you said, everybody can do their part. If it's not a financial, maybe it's sending the pictures, or it's sharing our information. It's expanding our reach from where we are right now into all the other parishes that we which we haven't tapped yet on our fundraising. So,
where can someone go? Where's the best place for people to go to find out the activities you guys are having, the events that's going on?
Sure. Well, I would say our website, which is nelcm.org. It's Northeast Louisiana Children's Museum, nelcm.org. Of course, follow us on our social pages. We do push a lot of our current information out, just right directly to social media.
Okay, great.
But our website is really our hub for ideas. I believe one of your cuties is on our website. Her beautiful photos. So but in all those photos are kids from our region that have experienced the museum that we hope will grow up one day and be a part of this community and live here and love it like we do.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you for coming in and just sharing kind of the passion that you and the board puts into the Children's Museum. It is a vital asset to our community.
Thank you.
My family uses it. We sing y'all's praises. So
Thank you.
We're looking to the future with you, and we're just excited to see where that's going to take us.
Well, thank you. And we look forward to families coming in from, that you bring in from your end that move here, and we are like one of the things that they come to as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brian.
Welcome to the 318 Experience, the ultimate podcast for discovering the best of what our community has to offer. I'm Brian Bendily, your host and local realtor, with a passion for showcasing the people, attractions, and hidden treasures of Monroe, West Monroe, and beyond.